Hello everyone, this is a bit of a weird video. Now the reason I have to do it like this is I tried to find a place where I can make a little video, but everywhere there were people. It was absolutely ridiculous. So I decided to sit down on my moped somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere in the city and do it like this. So this is the Aramar versus the Seiko video. Now interesting stuff about these watches. They're quite similar. Similar price, I think. This is Simon Crane's Seiko. This is my Aramar. I think Simon told me this one was 190 bucks or pounds. This was 250 euros. So I would say this is about the same price. Now this one is 200 meter water resistance. This one 500 meters. Let me say what I think about these watches. I wrote a few little things down. Just to make a compare, make a versus, and who wins what. Well, firstly, the movement. This one's got an in-house Seiko movement that runs 21,000 beats an hour. This one got a Miyota 1915 Japanese movement, 28,800 beats an hour. So this one should be more accurate than this one. All depends on the adjustments as well, though. The bezel on both, I think, if you are a tutor where the bezel is just absolute shit. Let me see for the lorry going by. Yeah, there it was. I would say both bezels are shit. Now why? Well, first this bezel. It'll turn, but it's too quick. It turns too easy. It's just too easy. And then you get the Seiko. Now I don't know what's wrong with the Seiko, because the bezel itself is, I think, better than the Aramar. But when I got it from Simon, the bezel was jammed. It just turned like, with all my might, I could turn it like 1 or 2 clicks, and then it will be stuck. Now I got it to work again. So yeah, and it turned very smoothly. And then when you don't turn the bezel for a few days, it starts becoming very tough again. So for example, if Simon would get this back and he's not wearing this for a month, it's impossible to turn the bezel. So I'm not sure what's wrong with the build of the watch. If there's something wrong with this particular bezel, I don't know. It's just that the bezel is shit. It doesn't work like it should. While in turning, when it does turn, it turns better than the Aramar. But in the way it's done now, I have to give the bezel to the Aramar. As much as I don't like the bezel on the Aramar, it does work. So continuing to the bracelet. Well, you can see both watches don't have a bracelet at the moment. Thing is, the Aramar has a, I think, citizen bracelet that works really, really well. It's a very good bracelet. I even preferred this Aramar bracelet above the Steinhardt bracelet. But I think the Aramar just looks brilliant on the Hirsch. And that's why I keep it on the Hirsch. Now, I got this Seiko with a NATO from Simon. Not this NATO, but another NATO. Because Simon already said the bracelet on the Seiko is absolute dog shit. So, in this case, I have to give the bracelet to the Aramar, even though they're not here. Then we go over to the crown. When it comes to adjusting the watch, I would say the Aramar is again better than the Seiko. Well, although the crown of the Seiko, I think, unscrews much easier and is much finer to take out and control, the crown on the Aramar actually does what it needs to do. What do I mean with that? Well, I don't really feel the Seiko to be very intuitive when it comes to setting the time. You pull it out, you turn it around, and then you have to find that exact little click that you can change things. And I just want to 1 click, 2 click, not 3 clicks or 2.5 click or whatever it takes to make a difference in the setting the time. I don't really find that interesting. Again, one thing I don't like about this watch is, for example, this one, you can manually wind it. You know, you set the time, you manually wind it, and it will go. This one cannot be manually wound. So if you don't have a winder and you get it, there's no way you can give it some extra power reserve. And what's the point in leaving that out. I think it's like 1 or 2 extra gears, and it's much handier, I would say, although it really walks great. I didn't have it stop on me or whatever, so when it's on your wrist it's fine. So that's the bezel, the crown, and the bracelet. Both have 22mm lugs, which is interesting because the Aramar is bigger than the Seiko. So for a smaller watch it actually has a bigger, wider lugs, which for NATOs is actually pretty cool because the majority of the NATOs is 22. So this one will fit on this as well, and the other way around. Yeah, the movement. Let me go over to the loom. Now, the loom is no question. The Seiko wins hands down with the loom. This got loomed markers, and there is a little bit of a applied loom on top of the painted markers on the dial. Now, if you look at the Aramar, that loom is just the paint on the dial. There is no extra loom. It will light up, but it shines for about 15 seconds and then it's dark. So this loom doesn't work at all. This loom works pretty well for a cheaper watch. This loom is pretty good. I'm not sure if it will run all night, but it will run quite a long time. It's a good watch. Yeah, you know, there's the cheapest segment watches this is, so it's not much, really too much to tell about the watches than I already have now. I think they're both great watches for the price. 200 meters, 500 meters water resistance. They are nice lookers, 22mm lug, so you can do anything with them. In the end, I would say the Aramar has the upper hand because it's just a little bit different watch. It's got a higher beat per hour movement. It's got 300 meters more water resistance. The bezel just turns like not very good, but it's definitely better than on the Seiko Scuba. Now, maybe somebody can leave a comment about why that happens, because it's a bit weird. I like the face more, the color changes of the Aramar. So, yeah, in the end, I have to say the winner of the two is the Aramar. Though the Seiko definitely is not a bad watch. It is a quite a good watch, actually. I really enjoyed wearing it. And I think this watch will have a lot of fans. I just think that for the price of 190, you might want to have a good bezel and a crown that you can manually wind a watch. I just don't see the reason about not integrating that in a movement. It's just not really my thing. So that's the review for now. I wish you all the best. Have a good night, everyone. And if you're planning on buying one of these two watches, you can't really go wrong. And ciao, bye.